Have you ever stopped and wondered, what are we, really? I mean, beneath all the monuments, the art, the stories we tell ourselves, what's the real engine driving us? Well, the answer isn't exactly flattering. It's a truth we've buried for centuries, because frankly, we chose to.
To get to the bottom of it, we have to go way back. Back to the very first people who dared to open up a human skull and just look. They saw the organ of thought itself, and they had to give it a name.
And you know, their first impression, their immediate gut reaction, might just be the most honest take we've ever had on ourselves.
That's right. The first recorded name for the two hemispheres of the human brain was the buttocks. Two fleshy halves, a deep crack right down the middle. They looked at the very seat of our consciousness and saw an ass. Maybe they knew, right then and there, that our history was just destined to be one long, grim, and frankly, deceitful story.
So how in the world did we get from that brutal honesty to the grand, heroic story we tell ourselves today? Simple. We invented a beautiful lie. A story so good, so compelling, that we completely forgot it was just a story.
I mean, think about it. We look at what we've done. We've got a little rover crawling around on Mars, for crying out loud. We built the great cathedrals, we wrote symphonies, and we feel this deep sense of pride. We see ourselves as the pinnacle of it all, don't we?
But what if all those incredible achievements are meaningless? What if they're just little decorative cherries on top of a massive, horrifying cake made of our own cruelty and mindless distraction? You can pluck those cherries right off, and the cake doesn't change a bit. It's still the same cake.
And this beautiful lie, it has a name. We call it culture. We think of it as our highest achievement. But what if it's really more like a powerful drug? A collective hallucination we've cooked up from history, religion, and art. All just to give each and every one of us the feeling that we are special, that we have a soul, that our little lives actually matter.
Just look at the timeline here. Our basic programming, who we really are, was written over 2.5 million years in the brutal kill-or-be-killed world of the Pleistocene. The lie, this story about how special we are, that's only about 5,000 years old. It's nothing. It's a paper-thin layer of paint on a very, very old and very dark machine. Okay, so what is this machine actually capable of? To really get it, we need to peel back that beautiful lie and just look at the animal underneath. And for that, let's try a little thought experiment.
I want you to picture a giant building. Inside, in cages, is every animal on Earth, and they're all doomed. But you have the power to save just one, to take it home, make it your responsibility for the rest of its life.
So who do you pick? I mean, a cobra would be a pretty inconvenient pet. A crocodile, even worse. But then, in one of the cages, there's a human being, staring at you, pleading with you. So, what's your choice? Who do you save?
Now think about the danger. The other animals are dangerous, sure, but it's a simple, direct kind of danger. The cobra might bite you, the croc could eat you. But only the human is capable of a much higher, more creative kind of betrayal. The human won't just kill you, they'll ruin your name, turn your friends against you, and steal everything you own after you're gone. And why is that? Because for 99.8% of our history, back in the Pleistocene, survival depended on those exact skills: deceit, a love of conflict, hysteria, theft. These weren't character flaws back then. No, they were essential survival tools, honed to a razor's edge over millions of years. We are the direct descendants of the best liars and the most successful thieves.
So if this is our true nature, where can we see its blueprint out in the wild? Where's the model for the kind of society this creature was always going to build? Well, you don't look at the noble lion or the wise elephant. You look at an animal we'd much rather not think about. We have to look at the hyena. Because if you study how a hyena pack works, you start to see a deeply disturbing reflection of our own primal instincts, the very ones our culture tries so desperately to cover up.
The resemblance is, well, it's uncomfortable. For both the hyena pack and the early human tribe, constant conflict isn't a problem to be solved. It's a feature. It's the very thing that holds the group together. Mutual hatred, lust, fear, that's the social glue. And when things get really tough, your neighbor is the most convenient meal around. The tribe itself is a living pantry.
And that brings us to the last and maybe the most humbling truth of all, the real story of our rise to power, the story of how we conquered the world. Turns out that's just another one of those beautiful lies.
We have this image in our heads, right, of our ancestors as these mighty hunters, bringing down mammoths with incredible courage and skill. The truth is a lot less heroic. Our story doesn't start with a bang. It starts with patience, the kind of patience only a scavenger knows.
Just picture the scene. A giant beast, something enormous, finally drops dead. First on the scene are the real predators, the lions, the saber-toothed cats. They take the best cuts. Then come the other scavengers, the ones with jaws strong enough to rip through that tough hide. Our ancestors, with their flimsy fingernails and clumsy stone tools, they couldn't even get it open. So they waited. They just waited for everyone else to do the hard work. And only then, when the coast was finally clear, did they crawl inside the rotting, stinking carcass to pick at whatever was left.
And let's be clear, this wasn't some noble circle of life. It wasn't cooperation. It was a pecking order, plain and simple. And we were at the bottom. Our place at the dinner table was decided by how strong other animals' teeth were. We survived because we were just really, really good at waiting our turn.
So this grand story of humanity, it's not a story of heroic conquest. It's the story of a clever, patient little scavenger who just waited for all the real monsters to kill each other off and then simply inherited a world it was never, ever strong enough to win on its own. And that is the animal that's staring back at you from the mirror.